Canton, Ohio, home to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the National First Ladies Library, and now for the first time, a Simulation Football League franchise, the Canton Classics. Tonight, the Classics return home to Fatherhood Festival Field, trying to rebound from one of the most stunning losses in recent SFL history, but standing in their way as one of the four remaining unbeaten teams in Season 19, the 2-0 London Knights. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Fatherhood Financial Field in Canton, alongside the SFL Everyman, Cameron Irvine, our statisticians, Mark Chisholm and Chris Porter, and my partner, Rochelle Colston. I'm Tim Hackett. You're watching the SFL on Rare Drop Sports. Happy to have you with us. Pleasure to be here with you tonight. Ray, what are you looking at most in tonight's matchup?
Well, after last week's game with Canton, I don't know what to expect tonight. Hoping they can bounce back and hopefully get their first win here.
It'll be a tough task against this London team, which has looked really good on offense through 3 weeks, or through 2 weeks, excuse me, Ray, but it's a different looking success on offense for London than we've seen in the past 2 years with Johnny Pickler as the starting quarterback. You see him there. Pickler has been middle of the road so far through 2 weeks. It's been the Robert Merrill show, and that has come up aces for the London Knights. They're 2-0.
And yeah, last year they were a high-flying offense. This year they're more balanced using their receivers and their halfback. This has made it more interesting, I think.
Sure has, and it's made London a multi-dimensional team and very successful through a couple of weeks. They put up a ton of points, better than 30 in both of their first two games. Canton, of course, on the other side of it, had Indianapolis won, had them beat down up by 30 in the third quarter last week, but could not seal it. The Classics will kick off in their second ever home game. London on the road, all the way from across the pond, will receive. This is Terrence Weary, second-year wide receiver and first year playing for London on the return. And now we will get our first look tonight at the London offense. Again, a new looking team with a lot of the same personnel in place. Chad Rowland, last season's head coach, moves on to Indianapolis to become the head coach of the Ramblers there, one of the expansion teams. So Liam Crowder, the owner of this team, takes back over the head coaching duties with Johnny Pickler alone in the shotgun, now his third season as the Knights starting quarterback. Merrill is off the field here on first down. Pickler will throw, lofts it over the middle, and that's caught. A nice gain to start for the Knights. Give them about 9 yards.
And what a good opening play on our first drive. They pick up almost a first down. Wide receiver, middle of the field. A little pitch and catch there by London.
Terrence Weary, I just mentioned him, spent his rookie season with Los Angeles Lycans, moves all the way over to London, about as far as you can go mileage-wise in the SFL. It's his fifth catch this season. Here is Robert Merrill, his first rush of the day, and he is stopped up. Great stop right at the line of scrimmage by Mark Gronick, middle linebacker for Canton. Has been an outside linebacker for the majority of his career, his first season playing inside.
Good job by the defense there, recognizing the run play, and now we have a third and short. Let's see if they go back to Merrill here.
I'm wondering how London attacks this game. They will run it on third down, left tackle. A lot of running room for Robert Merrill. We've seen a lot of this so far this season into Canton territory on just his second run. A gain of better than 25 yards, first down.
Yeah, Canton's got to find their way to stop Merrill here. Some great blocking there by the offensive line to set Merrill free.
About 26 to be precise. Thanks to Chris Porter and Mark Chisholm for hanging with us in the stat truck. That has been what we have seen a lot of from Merrill, is averaging 7.5 yards per rush, third best in the league and the league's leader in rushing yards with 350 through 2 games. Pickler to throw over the middle again. They go. Benji Matson, the tight end, on the catch. And for the second time on this first drive, it's a gain of about 9 for London.
Yeah, London's doing a great job of mixing run plays and pass plays here. Catching the defense a little bit off guard, I think.
7 catches for 100 yards for Benji Matson through 2 games. It's been a kind of middle of the pack season so far for Pickler, but you know that he has the ability to pick it up. Can be one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in this league. Second down, they will run it again. Stretch it out. Merrill left tackle, away he goes. Left sideline, breaks a tackle and gets inside the 15. Second run of better than 20 yards for Robert Merrill. He's a brand new man this year.
Look, they have no defenders on that on the outside of the field right there. He's just breaking free out by himself.
Rob Funk got left in the dust. Merrill picks up 21 that time. This is insane, Ray. Last year, we'll talk about this plenty, I'm sure. Last season, Robert Merrill totaled 676 rushing yards in 12 games. He's got 350 through 2 weeks and nearly 50 already on London's first drive. They will run it right tackle this time. Canton ready. Just the second time they've really stopped Merrill before he can get going. It's Gary Clem, fourth-year outside linebacker on that stop. The rest of the London offense. Pickler is the quarterback. Merrill is the tailback. Tiberius Bovine, the league veteran, his first season as the fullback. Wide receivers, Vin Calia, Fox Highland, and Terrence Weary. Benji Matson is the tight end, and 4 standouts on the offensive line. From the 12. Pickler drops, fires into traffic, swatted again, and nearly picks. 3 chances at an interception for Canton. Last one coming from number 20.
Very lucky. Pickler's very lucky there because the 2 defenders both had their hands on that ball, and it should have probably been picked.
Yeah, a lot of chances for Canton. See them in the all gold with the dark numbers. First look for Mark Gronick, who is one of the league's leaders in pass deflections. He's got 4 of them, make it 5 of them in just 2 weeks. The offensive line for London, left tackle Anthony Anderson, guards Perrin Ibarra, Demetrius Farmer, and the center Wallace DeMorinville Jr. This Knights team has invested heavily in the offensive line over the last couple of seasons. Pickler against Gronick is a matchup to watch. We know something that Johnny's been looking forward to. 3rd and 8. Pickler floats it to the end zone. Swatted away again. Canton locks down in the red zone. J. Rock with that pass deflection. It's 4th down.
Great stop by Canton here on defense. Looked like London was pretty much marching down the field, had their way, was going to score the touchdown, but great stop by the defense here.
Connor Darien came over as kind of the prized cornerback acquisition for Canton. Obviously a brand new team. Everybody their first season with the Classics, but Rock has been really solid now. 3 pass deflections and 16 total tackles to go with a pick his first season playing in Ohio. So that drive stalls, and JT Delaney will come on to attempt a field goal, and he knocks it through from 28 yards. 2 really good kickers on display here today. Delaney has missed just 4 kicks in his 5 seasons. Rob Ems on the other side has also missed just 4 kicks in his 5 seasons. So he's attempted 30 more than Delaney has in that same time frame. So in a league where kickers have been fantastic so far, everybody perfect through 2 weeks, Delaney is the one who gets the Knights on the board first.
Yeah, see, Canton has an answer for London's first drive now.
They really didn't have any answers in the second half for Indianapolis, did they? As the return from Al Dillapre Sr. gets them out to the 24, and this is opportunity for Canton to rebound. You hear the expression trying to rebound after a loss all the time, but really this goes double and maybe even quadruple for Canton. They lead 26-3 at halftime. Then they score early in the 3rd quarter, so they're up on Indianapolis 33-3 in the 3rd quarter, and the Ramblers score the final 35 points of the game, including 28-0 deficit in the 4th quarter. A crazy comeback. Cameron Curtis's first pass of this game is swatted away. That was risky. Jeff Gagne on the coverage for London, and that was a big problem for Canton in the second half last week, Ray.
Yeah, Cameron Curtis got to settle down. He threw 5 interceptions in the end of that last game. He's got to, get comfortable in that pocket and not throw the ball away.
5 interceptions, all in the second half, all in the late stages of the game. Almost all of them led to Ramblers points. Classics and their ownership, I'm sure, are tired of hearing about that game, but one of the craziest games in recent league history, no question about it. Curtis has time this time, throws it into traffic again. Reaching out and swatting it away is Gagne, middle linebacker, veteran in this league. Only had 8 tackles through 2 weeks, but he's got pass deflections on London's first 2 plays.
Yeah, great job. He's right there, wherever he needs to be on defense. And if I was Curtis, I keep looking for him on the field.
3rd down and 10 for Canton on their first drive. Will empty out. 4 wides and a tight end for Curtis. London rushes just 3. Now they'll bring a 4th. Curtis's pass is behind his target. More good coverage there. Looking for KJ Alesho, who just made 2 catches over Canton's first 2 games. Not on the same page there, and it's 4th down.
That time it was Tony Roberto on the coverage. He did a great job. Now it's 3 and out. See what London comes back with.
Doug Six, rookie undrafted punter, comes on to punt for Canton. And unfortunately for the Classics, London's got the best punt returner in the league through 2 weeks in Terrence Weary. League leader in return yards, and it's blocked. Weary won't have a chance at it. It's blocked and picked up by Canton, and then London makes the hit at the 11-yard line. A disastrous start for the Classics in their second ever home game. Brandon Ewing at the scene of the crime for the visitors.
Oh my gosh, Tim. They're starting out in the red zone, 1st and 10. What a gift.
No kidding. For a team like this, it's got Pickler and a resurgent Robert Merrill at the helm. This is a gift. From the 11, here goes Merrill. Can he do it again? Nice run to start, and Robert Merrill picks up 5. Remember, London's last drive ended at the 12-yard line. They had to settle for that Delaney field goal. They will start this drive at the Canton 11-yard line.
And it's going to have to find the answer for Merrill. It's going to be a long day.
London's first 2 opponents, they also played Indianapolis week 1 and then Tulsa in week 2. Neither of them had any answers for Robert Merrill. Over 50 rushing yards already. We played 4 minutes of game time. Pickler to throw. Merrill is open out of the backfield, accelerates and scores. London takes advantage of the turnover. Another touchdown for Robert Merrill, his 7th through 3 weeks.
That time they made it look easy. Merrill in the swing pass, there was nobody in front of him. He just walked us into the end zone.
Talk about wide open, Ray, and Canton was not ready for it. They had the middle of the field controlled, perhaps anticipating another Merrill run, 3rd in the league in carries, but also 11th in the league in receptions with 17 through 2 weeks. So to say that he has been used a lot is not saying enough. He has been everywhere. And again, he's now scored 7 total touchdowns, and we're just 4 minutes into week 3. He scored 10 total touchdowns in 12 games a season ago for London.
It's an impressive season for him so far.
It's really just a total resurgence. I don't want to say out of nowhere, but I mean, if we're being honest, it really is. The last couple of seasons, Merrill has not been used very much as a rusher. They use him a fair amount as a pass catcher, which is to be expected for a former SFL wide receiver, but he's not been used very much. When he has been used, his rushing average is not very good. And this season, out of nowhere, it really feels like Merrill has turned into one of the best running backs in the SFL. We're just through 2 weeks, so plenty of things can change. And what I want to know from you, and what I'm curious if we might learn this over the course of this game, do you think that this is just London's approach through the first 2 weeks, or is this a complete paradigm shift for Liam Crowder and Johnny Pickler and company? Are they going to be a more balanced team this year than we have seen in the last couple?
Well, I'm thinking you have a different coach, different philosophy. I'm thinking see what works. If this works for them, they'll probably keep using it.
Absolutely. It's worked so far, up to a 10-0 lead against Canton. Here's the first run of the game for Robert Johnson, and he is blown up. A very good running back on the other side wearing the Canton gold, but he has nowhere to go. Veteran safety Anthony Wyo with the hits.
I'm very familiar with Robert Johnson, obviously, but he's much better up the middle, I think, Tim. Those outside runs are going to work for him very well.
It's been a slow start for Rojo so far in his first 2 games with Canton. His first team besides the Chicago and LA franchise. They will toss it to him here, and London again is ready for it. Again, they stop Johnson on the line. 2 touches, 0 yards.
Yep, the defense is ready for Johnson those out routes. He just can't break free.
You and I know him as a bruising back that knows how to make things happen, but just 3.8 yards per rush through 2 weeks. That is 3rd last. 94 total rushing yards through 2 weeks. That is 5th last in the league. Curtis will throw it. Gonna loft it down the right seam, and it's caught somehow. What a play. Hauled in by Mike Twinscrew out to the 48-yard line.
Yeah, what an awesome play for Mike Twinscrew to actually hang on to that ball this time. What a great catch.
1-on-1 against
coverage.
Tanner Hendricks. Go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
That was definitely a 50-50 ball there, Tim.
No kidding. Tanner Hendricks is usually very good at coming down with 50-50 balls, but not that time. Great link up. First down today for Canton. Twin Screw, a gain of 24 on 3rd and 10. Across midfield as well. Now they'll stretch it. Robert Johnson, right tackle, and a gain of just 2 that time. Gagne again on the stop. He's been busy here in the first quarter. Let's introduce you to the Canton offense for Mike Twin Screw, who is the head coach. Dual ownership with KJ Alasho and Adam Chance, 2 relative newcomers to this league, with Mike All as the general manager, who is now a league veteran at this point. Cameron Curtis, the quarterback. Robert Johnson, the tailback. Chris Komisak is the fullback. 4 wide receivers and a tight end. That's Jack Wall. Curtis looks to throw over the middle, wide open. First down and another nice pickup out to the 31. Twin Screw with another chunk play. Here is the rest of the Canton offense. You've seen Twin Screw now twice on this drive. He's joined among the wide receivers by KJ Alasho and the veterans Al Dillapre Sr. and Kendra Hall. And the offensive line is anchored by center Girth Lord.
That was just a great route there by Twin Screw. Got himself open in between the defenders.
14 that time after his first catch went for 24. 103 receiving yards over his first 2 games playing for Canton. From the 31, this is more like it for this team. Curtis will fling it. Komisak, the fullback, makes the catch, but he had to fall to do so, and so he's limited to just a gain of 3, and then about 5 white shirts were there to tag him down.
Yeah, that throw just had Komisak a little off balance there. He had to turn around and go back for the ball and just fell down.
Always been a very highly involved fullback, Chris Komisak, now in his 5th season, spent the last few with Queen City. 6 carries and 7 receptions for him through 2 weeks. He's on the board here today. Johnson with a hole up the middle, blows through a man, and there is the bowling ball. That's what we've come to know out west, Ray, and he now brings his craft back here to the middle of the United States. He started his career mid-season in season 15 with the Chicago Wildcats, and now back here playing in the Midwest in the state of Ohio this time, and that is what we've come to expect from him.
Yeah, I give credit to the O-line there. They gave Robert Johnson a huge hole that actually you and I both could have ran through probably.
You think highly of me. Canton inside the red zone for the first time, and they get London to jump. Free play for Curtis, and he gets plastered for his efforts. Completely trucked on that play by Cam Frosby, who is working on a career season. But our first look at R62, we know what this penalty will be.
Definitely offsides there.
Selwyn Lane, the guilty party for London. London has just 6.5 sacks through 2 games, and Cam Frosby has 5.5 of them. The league's leader in both sacks and TFLs. 5.5 sacks and obviously 6 tackles for loss. Working on a career season. 3.5 sacks last week alone against the Desperados, as London waltzed to its 2nd straight lopsided win. 1st and 5 now. A lot of choices here for Canton. Curtis ducks. Now he's going to run. Curtis tries to slide, gets hit as he starts his slide, but still a first down for Cameron Curtis. This is something that we've seen from him a lot over his pro career, Rochelle.
Yep, that surprised me, actually. Not many quarterbacks in this league do that.
No.
Or do it that well, I should say.
No, for sure. We hardly ever see quarterbacks scramble. We never see them designed run unless your name's Julian Tyree. One of the best runs that we'll see this season. 1st and goal. Here's Robert Johnson again. Blows through a man and scores. The bowling ball has arrived tonight. Canton's on the board.
That's just Robert Johnson at his best. Power running up the middle, knocking people out of his way. That's what I like to see from him.
That's his 2nd rushing touchdown this season, and a bruising run from the man they've now called the bowling ball. Tanner Hendricks left in his wake. Canton on the board. An impressive response drive. Now here comes Rob Ems. Mentioned the excellence that JT Delaney has put up over his career. Same can be said for Rob Ems. Top 10 already in made field goals and in field goals attempted in his career, and he knocks through this PAT. An impressive bounce back there from Canton Ray. They go down 10-0 after that blocked punt. It was easy money for London to cash that in, but the Classics march right down the field and they score.
That's a pretty impressive drive by Canton there. I'm impressed. I think, took off the interceptions from last week and are actually moving the ball down the field now.
10 plays, 72 yards. We talk about balance, 6 runs and 4 passes. Capped off by that 7-yard rushing touchdown from Robert Johnson. Great kick from Ems into the end zone. You don't see that very often in this league. And two former Lycans on the receiving ends, on the opposite ends, I should say, of that kickoff. Ems to Terrence Weary, who's been excellent returning punts. Not quite as showy returning kicks, but he is 7th in average. Usually averages better than 24 yards per return. That one right about there. And you don't typically see kicks into the end zone here in the league, but when you've got the big leg that Rob Ems possesses, it's one thing that you can do.
Good old money M's.
That's him. Now Pickler now up by 3 once again. We'll throw it out to Robert Merrill.
Oh my gosh.
Moves. My goodness is right. And a gain of 7 through the sky for Robert Merrill. Nicely done.
And at that point, I think I'd be dizzy at that point. I wouldn't even know which direction I was running anymore. Quite impressive.
Merrill has left opposing defenses dizzy so far this season. It's been insane what he's been able to do. Again, the league's leader in rushing yards with 350, more than half of what he put up through 12 weeks in the last regular season. On pace for a career season, obviously. They will run it here. Running room for Merrill. Look out. Left tackle. Down he goes across midfield into Canton territory. Breaks out. He's still running. Robert Merrill cannot be stopped. 71 yards. Touchdown, London.
I think it's been the same play that he's broken out on 3 times now, correct? Am I wrong? It's like there's nobody on the outside to cover him. And then he just breaks through everybody else in the secondary, so great block. 1 tackle.
You're right. That stretch play to both sides, whether they run left tackle or right tackle, it has worked just about every single time. You mentioned the strategy with a back like Robert Johnson, got to run him up the middle. That worked for Canton's touchdown, but Merrill has shown the ability to be that escape back and move outside, and that one to the tune of 71 yards and his 6th rushing touchdown this season. Unreal.
Ian's got to find somehow to cover that outside lane from him just breaking through. That's the 3rd time he's done it on him tonight.
Merrill now unofficially 6 carries for 125 rushing yards.
And we're only in the first quarter.
Played 9 minutes. That's unbelievable. PAT from Delaney is good. And the other note on this from Merrill, London 12 games in the regular season last year, obviously. 6 rushing touchdowns for Robert Merrill. So far, we have played 2 games and 9 minutes of a 3rd game, and Merrill has rushed for 6 rushing touchdowns. He has matched his season output from season 18 in 2+ games here in season 19.
He's put up MVP numbers so far.
There's no question about it. Shorter kick from Delaney. You see the contrast that we were talking about. Returnable here for Dillapre Sr. just out to the 24-yard line. If you're new to the SFL, it's the Simulation Football League. It combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at www.simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. Cameron Curtis gets a new crack at being a quarterback here in the SFL. He will try to toss it out. That is fullback Chris Komisak. Gain of about a couple through the sky. So Curtis was a standout minor league quarterback in the first year of the SFLM. Put up great numbers with the Annapolis Navigators, but didn't get drafted as a quarterback because there were only a couple of spots available in the pros for signal callers. So he joins the Fort Worth Toros as a wide receiver in his first season, converts back to quarterback in his second season, then was out of the league for a season, and now returns to be the signal caller for one of the SFL's 4 expansion teams, the Canton Classics. Johnson with the give and nowhere to go once again. See the average there, right about what he's done so far this season. Nothing doing there on second down.
You know, London's doing a great job containing Robert Johnson tonight. See if he goes to the air here. 3rd and 8.
Bunch it down to the bottom. 3 wideouts down there for Curtis. Remember, Canton does have 4 standout wideouts and Jack Wall, one of the league's best tight ends. On 3rd down, Curtis zips it near the sticks. It's caught, but well short of the sticks by Alasho. Just his 3rd kick, or check that. That is Al Dillapre Sr., apologies. 17, not 11 in the Canton Gold. But Dillapre Sr., the veteran wide receiver, makes the catch, but he's 3 yards short.
With another 3 and out.
No doubt. We know what happened the last time Doug Six got on the field. London does not send the pressure that time, and so now we will have our first look at Weary trying to return punts. Another solid return for Terrence Weary, who averages 16.4 yards per return, best in the league. He only returned 5 punts through 2 games, but one of them went for a touchdown. That will always help the average. A total of 82 return yards on just 5 attempts for Weary.
Once again, London has a great field position.
No doubt. This offense has looked way too good through 2 weeks to keep giving them opportunities like this. They've already capitalized on their first 3 possessions. High throw there from Pickler. Merrill with the spin move and is brought down just short of the first line. 41 and 42, the linebacker duo there for Canton, Gary Clem and Mark Gronick respectively.
And right now, Merrill is averaging 20.8 yards per carry. It's like, really?
125 rushing yards through 1 quarter and 2 total touchdowns. Merrill is the difference. After 1, London leads Canton 17-7. You're watching the Simulation Football League live on Rare Drop Sports.
Like 9 yards is almost like a disappointment at this point. It's like, only 9 yards this run? Get better.
20.8 yards per rush. He's averaging just under 8 yards per rush through 2 weeks, so he's one-upping himself and then some. Welcome back to Canton, Ohio. Second down and short. They will run it with Merrill. No surprise. Left tackle, and that's really, you mentioned it in that first quarter, Rochelle Colston. That is one of Canton's best stops against Merrill. Drops his average down 2 yards per carry, down to 18.4.
And that play is just money for Merrill. I mean, they've got to find a way to stop it.
This will be one of the stories of the first half of the season if this keeps up for London, regardless of how many games they win. And they believe they're primed to win a lot this season with the schedule they've been handed. First down, Pickler will throw. Nice pitch and catch, and a gain of 7. Bryce Carter, one of the second-string wide receivers on that catch. So we've not seen really any of the star pass catchers so far today. No Vin Calia, no Fox Highwind. It's been all Robert Merrill, but through 1 quarter, so far so good for London.
It's not broken. Don't fix it.
No doubts.
I think we'll see Merrill again.
Canton try to stack the box. They've got 8 men in the box. They will run it. 2 blockers ahead. Sidestep by Merrill. Away he goes. Can they stop him? No, he breaks out of a tackle and scores again. 3 touchdowns in the first half for Robert Merrill. This one from 39. London extends the lead.
I have no words anymore. It's just amazing how he can just be all by himself, break tackles. Just a great hole, great block there by number 42. And just nobody can catch him after he gets going.
Sheds Evan Lacey, not easy to do. And rumbles the final 10 yards unopposed. And 10 total touchdowns in 12 games last season. He's now got 9 total touchdowns. And we are a minute and 9 seconds into the second quarter of week 3.
And Merrill says, nope, I'm at 21.1 yards per carry now.
Nearly 3 times what he was doing through the first 2 weeks, and that mark was the 3rd best rushing average in the league through 2 weeks. So he's just taking it to another level. It's unbelievable what he's been able to do. We imagine this would be a good running back matchup, Ray. We've got Robert versus Robert. Robert Johnson against Robert Merrill. You throw Robert Redford into that mix, and these are 2 of the other best running backs in the league this season, at least, not named Robert Redford, and so far, advantage Merrill.
Well, I mean, they're totally 2 different styles of backs. You have a power back and you have a finesse back, and they just have to find an answer for him on that outside run.
It's been, and this was just pointed out in the chat on Rare Drop Sports, one of the things that London has done over the last couple of years is invest into their offensive line. And that's something that I'm going to ask you about because you can speak to the roster construction of this league better than I can. London has invested in that part of the game continuously over the last couple of years. They bring in Perrin Ibarra a couple seasons ago, Anthony Anderson last season, and 2 more offensive linemen this season. So far, that strategy appears to have worked. Canton has 1 standout offensive lineman. That's Girth Lord, and he helps pave the way for Robert Johnson to pick up 4. So more on London later. Let's focus on the Canton offense because they've had some success through 2 weeks. I mean, they only put up 10 points against Minnesota in week 1, a fellow expansion team. So a primetime matchup at the convention with 2 of the 4 newest teams in the league on display. Canton comes up short there. Then they put up 33 last week against Indy, another one of the new teams in the league, but fall short in the aforementioned heartbreaking loss. Johnson with a gain of about 2 there. So it's been some good and some not so good so far for Canton, but of course for Mike All and company, the reality of the situation is they're 0-2 and they're facing a really good team here this evening.
Our expansion team, even though they have a lot of veteran players on their team, they have a new staff, so everything's new. They may struggle for a while, but they'll eventually figure it out.
Heard his sidearm sling, swatted away. He was looking for Dillapre Sr. Brandon Ewing, the 6th-season veteran, is on the coverage, and it will be 4th down again for Canton.
Cameron Curtis has got to settle in. He's throwing way too many risky passes. Don't want to get away with it for so long before they pick you off.
One very good drive for Canton, of course, resulting in that touchdown for Robert Johnson, and they've punted, or at least attempted to punt, on every other possession that they've had. Doug Six, undrafted rookie. Again, London does not show any pressure. They brought the house on the first one and blocked it. Returnable here for Weary. Great coverage, though, by Canton. Nowhere for Terrence Weary to go. The SFL has partnered with Rare Drop and Rare Drop Sports to advance live events and distribution. Live and in-person championship weekends, rookie drafts, and community events are in the works. Check out SFL games on their Twitch channel Friday through Sunday evenings and follow Rare Drop Sports at twitch.tv/rdsports. Live on Rare Drop here tonight. Happy to have you with us. Tim Hackett and Rochelle Colston in the booth. Chris Porter, Mark Chisholm in the truck. Cameron Irvine working hard behind the scenes. Johnny Pickler to throw on first down. There is the first catch today for Vin Calia, who is the most veteran member of this London offense, at least the longest tenured member, I should say, of this offense, now in his 6th season here.
Surprised to see him come out passing on first down. That's a change for him.
No doubt. They have typically run it on their first plays of drives. Can't say he's the most veteran member of this team because Merrill is in his 12th season, and of course Tiberius Bovine, the veteran of all veterans, his 17th season in the league. Bovine will try to block for Merrill. He missed the block, really, and Merrill was still able to get a couple of yards before he stopped by Mark Gronick.
Glad to see Canton can actually come up and make a stop on him with a 2-yard gain.
Got veterans at all levels of this Canton secondary. Like Rochelle mentioned, it's a brand new team, obviously, but as we'll talk about, part of the strategy for Mike All was to fill this team with league veterans. 3rd down, Merrill with a shuffle step, and he gets the first down and more. Breaks away from a tackle. Can he do it again? You better believe it. Demetrius Farmer escorts him to the end zone. That's number 4 in the first half for Robert Merrill.
Oh, boy. And that time, that was more of an inside run with great blocking. So I guess the O-line has helped London tremendously. And a great sidestep, avoiding all the tackles, literally avoiding tackles, and just running down the field.
I trashed Bovine on the previous play for missing a block. Not that time. And with that offensive line helping pave the way, as you mentioned, it was easy money for a house call for Robert Merrill. That one goes for 56 yards and a touchdown. Mark Chisholm and Chris Porter are working hard on these stats for us. You see it there. 227 rushing yards on 10 attempts for Robert Merrill. We've played 15 minutes, less than that, of game time. That PAT is blocked. Oh, there's a highlight for Canton. It has been a slog of a first half for them. JT Delaney just got roofed.
Always a positive, I guess, in the kicking game.
Yeah, they get one back, right? They had the punt blocked. Now they block a PAT. This happens maybe, I don't know, once every other week in this league, Ray. We saw one earlier today, as a matter of fact, a blocked PAT. So we've seen 2 of those in the span of a couple of hours here in the SFL. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, Whistle Jones had one blocked in the Carolina game.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple of times.
Let's see if Canton can put together a drive here and get some wins on the board before this game gets really out of hand.
We saw them rebound that first time, right? They went down 10-0 and then marched down the field, put together an excellent drive and scored. But since then, we haven't been able to see a lot of this Canton offense. Johnson joins Cameron Curtis in the backfield. Curtis will throw, looking left sideline and way out of bounds. That was Kendra Hall on the target. The first time we're saying her name tonight, Rochelle. She has been nothing short of sensational since joining the league. First season played for Atlanta, then spent the last couple of seasons playing for Vancouver, the number 2 wide receiver there behind Brett Killian, and now she gets to be the number 1 wide receiver for Canton. So they've got some standouts at all levels. Hall is a tremendous wide receiver. Jack Wall is one of the best tight ends in the league. Robert Johnson has been very good as a running back. They've got a veteran, Chris Komisak, as the fullback. They've got a lot of pieces on this offense. But can they put it together? Here's Johnson putting together a nice run. Give him 7. Ewing makes the tackle.
A great run by Robert Johnson there, and that's what I used to see from him. Runs up the middle.
Slow start to him here for his first season playing for Canton. Only 25 carries through 2 games. Even though they were up by 30 points last week, they did not go to him very much. Third down and 3. They will go to him here on the ground, and they've got a first down. Nicely done. Across the 40-yard line they go. First down classics.
Seems to be getting his little groove in now. Not many yards at a time, but you're getting first downs and you're moving the chains. That's all that really matters.
No doubt, and that's what a back like Johnson can do. You've got a veteran fullback in Komisak to help pave the way. I like that strategy. You don't need to get all these points back now. You need to just start to build back into this game as steadily as you can. There's a great run. First down and more, and a gain of 12 for Robert Johnson. He started to wake up.
Glad to see they're getting Robert Johnson moving with more up the run, with the runs up the middle and quick going to that screen pass on the outside. Looking promising on this drive at least.
Stuck by Anthony Wyo. Here is the defense for Liam Crowder and London. On the line, William Davidson, Selwyn Lane, and Cam Frosby. Linebackers, a trio of league veterans, Jeff Gagne, Telemax Scarborough, and Tony Roberto, and 5 standouts in the secondary. Canton across midfield. Working on another impressive drive. Curtis with a dart. That was right into the hands of the defense. Emmanuel Blackman, we're just about to talk about him, fresh off of his first All-Star game a season ago. And the rest of the secondary, Tanner Hendricks, Brandon Ewing, Anthony Wyo, and Jack Russell. A really underrated secondary here for London. Their offense gets a lot of the attention. They were one of the best passing offenses in the SFL last season. Johnny Pickler made the All-Star game once again and was the league leader in many statistical categories, but this secondary is really, really solid. 2 of these 5 guys made the All-Star game a season ago. Not easy to do. 2nd and 10. Curtis floats it up, and it's picked off right on cue. There is Jack Russell, one of those 2 All-Stars from a season ago. His first interception here in season 19, and this promising Classics drive comes to a premature halt.
If that ball was thrown into very, very, very heavy coverage, there was 4 defenders around the receiver.
I'm surprised they haven't gone to Kendra more often in this game, Ray. I mean, we know how much of a standout she is. She's been sensational since joining the league. Twin Screw was the target there, and like you said, you know a thing or two about ball hawking secondaries, and London's got one. They flash it there. Another takeaway, and now London will start from across their own 40. Pickler alone under center, fires it into traffic. There's a risky throw from Pickler, but that works out. Fox Highwind has his first catch, one-on-one against Evan Lacey.
Just Pickler trusting his receiver right there, throwing into heavy coverage. Receiver knows where the ball's going to be, and just great throw by Pickler. Great catch by Highwind.
Sorry, Ray. There weren't too many changes on this London offense, at least in terms of personnel. They bring back a lot of the same guys. Pickler's back. Merrill is back. Bovine is back. Callie is back. The list goes on. Their big loss was Mike St. Green, who's a tremendous wide receiver too, now joining Houston. So Fox Highwind takes St. Green's old number, takes the mantle of the number 2. A lot of guys just change roles. Here's Merrill, and nothing doing for Merrill that time. Give him about 2. Connor Derry in the corner on the stop. Nice play defensively there for Canton.
Like you were saying, there wasn't that much that changed on the offense. It's just their style of offense has changed greatly this season.
Absolutely. So a lot of the personnel is the same, but just the style is different. That's why I call it a paradigm shift. So Bovine stays, but he's now a fullback, not a tight end. And of course, they've invested heavily into the offensive line ahead of Merrill, who gets the catch here. Running room for Merrill. Spin move, first down. He breaks away again. Off he goes down the right sideline, breaks another tackle, and scores again. Unbelievable. Connor Darien was powerless to stop him. Canton has had no answer. Another touchdown for Robert Merrill.
Merrill is just amazing me at this point. It's like it doesn't matter who's in his way. He's just going to spin or run through them, or it's just, I don't know, no words.
This is absolutely insane. And you mentioned they've had so much success on the stretch runs outside, mainly left tackle, but right tackle as well. That's a Robert Merrill throwback play. You just toss it to him in the flats. That's where he has been the most effective in his London career. And he takes that one 45 yards to the house through the air.
Slowly approaching 300 yards on the day, and we're only in the second quarter.
Absolutely unbelievable. And 5 total touchdowns. He is responsible for every one of London's scores except for the first drive of the game that ended in the JT Delaney field goal. Since then, it has been all Merrill. This is unlike anything that I've ever seen in the SFL, Ray.
Right now, he's the leading rusher and the leading receiver.
And again, I mean, it's important to specify, it's important to underscore, I should say, how much of an anomaly this is. I mean, this is just not something that we have seen from Merrill in his London career. Again, he started his career as a wide receiver, became a running back. He's always been that kind of finesse back that doesn't necessarily rumble for tons of yards. His numbers are not flashy, but even with that said, it's been unbelievable what he's been able to do this season. I wondered if it was an anomaly. You know, you're playing an expansion team week 1. You're playing a Tulsa team that let up a ton of yards last season in week 2. So I wondered, is it an anomaly? You're playing another expansion team here in week 3, but it doesn't matter. Merrill has decimated everybody. Great response from Curtis. There's Kendra Hall. She takes off. Canton gets inside the 20-yard line on one play. A big gain for Kendra Hall.
I'm happy to see Canton bouncing back here. Great throw from Curtis. Great route by Kendra. In the middle of the field, all by herself. The defender's chasing.
Mention how good this London secondary is. No answer for Kendra Hall that time. From the 27 to the 18 on just one play. Talk about flipping the fields. London able to stop her. Something that the Canton defense has not really been able to do against Merrill in the open field, in fairness. On the 18, here goes Johnson, breaks through the first wave and gets out to the 15. Stop him at the 14, and it looked like he was down for a loss of 2, Ray, but Robert Johnson turns it into a gain of 3.
It's a very powerful running back. He can just run over people. Not surprised there.
Getting. Gain of about 55 on that play to Kendra Hall if you're tracking it home from the 14. Curtis, another sidearm sling, top of the screen this time. That's caught but short of the sticks by Dillapre Sr. What's interesting about this Canton offense is that they had so many players that were, you know, that had decent game, a decent season so far through 2 weeks, but nobody was really showing off. I mean, Hall is in the top 25 in receiving yards and in targets at 170 through 2 weeks, but kind of slow by her standards. Jack Wall has been amazing in very low usage, so this offense still trying to get untracked as Curtis fires to the end zone, and it's picked off somehow. There was a target there, but 3 Knights defenders were there as well. It's Russell again on the pick. Everything going London's way tonight.
Yeah. That was just a tip ball that he intercepted there. Great pass deflection, and he was just in the right place at the right time.
How did Jack Russell come down with that?
I think it was just tipped to him, and he just saw the ball in front of him and reached down and picked it up.
was Ty Tend, the number 3 tight end, on the target that time for Cameron Curtis. It ends up being another turnover. And so London will start from the 20.
Oh.
Here goes Merrill. We've seen this movie before. A gain of 18 through the air for Robert Merrill, who was close to 300 all-purpose yards in the first half.
Like I said before, they've got to find a way to defend that sideline. It's like money for him. He has passed the 300-yard mark in the game, all-purpose yards.
There you go. I jumped the gun. That is officially over 300 total yards of offense and 5 total touchdowns. And we've still got 3 minutes and change left in the first half. A performance for the ages, and it's not done. Here goes Merrill again. Canton ready for it that time. Great play defensively by the Classics, stopping Merrill for no gain. We owe you an introduction to the Canton defense, so here you go. The defensive line: Chris Porter, Mike All, Gary Burney, and Odette Boudreau. The linebackers: Mark Gronick, Gary Clem, and Adam Chance. And in the secondary: Connor Darien, Jay Rock, Bob Funk, Frank Bernstein, and Evan Lacey. Number 38, Merrill tripped up again. Great one-on-one tackle by Gary Clem, who was a standout for his first couple of seasons in Portland, was an all-star in season 17, and is the SFL's leader in tackles with 30 through 2 weeks. That is a crazy high number for an outside linebacker in this league.
I think they can finally find an answer to Merrill here. Let's see if they can come up with a big step on 3rd and 9.
Got to do is build some momentum if you believe in that, but just start to have some belief in yourselves as a defense. Pickler bombs it down the right sideline. Fox Highwind on the run. Touchdown. Easy does it for Highwind. Another touchdown for London.
That time, Highwind's just all by himself. He got past the secondary on a great route and a great throw by Pickler.
Did you see the camera work on that throw as well? I mean, as soon as that ball was launched, I knew it was a touchdown. It was an absolute dime. J-Rock got rocked. Fox on the run for 6. His first receiving touchdown this season. 2 minutes left in the first half. You're watching the SFL on Rare Drop Sports. Welcome back to Canton, Ohio. Tim Hackett and Rochelle Colston. The first time that London is in the end zone, courtesy of somebody other than Robert Merrill today. PAT from JT Delaney is good. Chris Porter, Mark Chisholm in the stat truck. Cameron Irvine working hard as always behind the scenes. And Ray, I mean, at the risk of overstating the obvious, this has been a performance for the ages for Robert Merrill and the London offense so far.
Definitely, Tim. I mean, it's 44-7. We're not even at halftime yet.
Over-under set at 57.5. I say this all the time, but Jack's Data does a tremendous job at setting the lines in these SFL games. Their hit rate is fantastic. London trying to beat that by themselves. Gillipre Sr. with a small return. The SFL produces over 400 live events each year, but don't miss community content creators and their creations. Catch SFL Nights with AJ Stryker, Say It With Your Chest with Eddie Gage, Netmo with Tyler Falk, and more covering Season 19 and beyond. To check out archived versions of community shows, visit simulationfl.net and click the logo of your favorite form of SFL entertainment on our homepage. Well, this has been entertainment in and of itself so far, and its name is Robert Merrill. Cameron Curtis flips it into tight window. First catch today for Jack Wall. We mentioned him. 96 receiving yards through 2 weeks, which doesn't sound like a lot, but those 96 receiving yards came on just 4 catches. So an average of 24 yards per catch for the veteran tight end. Second best receiving average in the SFL. And of those 4 catches, 2 of them went for touchdowns. So that gain of 8, paltry numbers for Jack Wall in his first season playing for Canton. Curtis pump fakes, floats it over wide open over the middle. Another first down for Canton and a gain of 8.
Yeah, Big Ken is to settle in and make some quick short passes, 5-6 yards at a time. You don't get all 30 yards in one shot.
It's Kendra Hall on that catch from the 44. Curtis floats it up. That was nearly picked once again. There was one defender right there. I think it was Russell.
It was Russell again.
Yeah, only defender there. He could have pulled that one down and would have been his third. Russell was great last season, en route to his second All-Star games. His second tour of duty here for London. He started his career with the Knights, then spent a couple of seasons with the DC Dragons, and now in his second season back playing for the team that plays across the Atlantic Ocean. 1 minute left in the first half. Curtis, high throw, hauled in again by Wall, and he is wrenched down immediately by a pair of Knights, including Jeff Gagne. Another third down here for Canton. Struggled in these situations today. Curtis wide open over the middle, another first down. That's easy money. That play has worked every time on this drive. This is dropping Jack Wall's yards per catch average. Here's Johnson, his first carry of this drive. Again, leaves a man in his trailer. It picks up 8.
I like this drive by Canton. You know, they're not doing anything flashy, getting 5-6 yards at a time, but they're moving the chains. That's where it counts.
Canton obviously has scored on one of its drives. That was that drive that was punctuated by the Robert Johnson touchdown run. Everything else has gone poorly. You've got the blocked punt, 2 other punts, a pick. Pick on their last drive as well. From the 34, Curtis going to bomb it again into traffic and again swatted away. Jack Russell is having a mammoth game defensively. Obviously, Robert Merrill is going to steal all of the highlights for the rest of the season if this keeps up. But how about this first half from Russell?
He's been all over the field.
Wall and Twin Screw both there as targets for Curtis. Couldn't get it past Russell. He's kind of had a slow start to the season. Only 9 tackles. It's a low number for a strong safety in this league, including a tackle for loss, 2 pass deflections, so that's nice, but no takeaways before today. Today he's got 2 and a couple of PDs as well. 30 seconds left in the half. Curtis feels the heat, throws it into traffic again, and swatted away again. This time, Telemax Scarborough, one of the best names in the SFL, 6-year veteran linebacker, with the pass deflection, and now it's 4th down.
That's an 8th pass deflection by the London Knights tonight in the first half.
That's crazy. Add that to 2 interceptions as well. That's been one of Cameron Curtis's biggest problems so far this season, completing just 57% of his passes through 2 weeks. 2nd worst mark in the SFL. Rob Ems ready for this field goal. Will be from about 51 yards. Snap down, the hold down from Tex Grigg, and the kick from Ems, no surprise, is good. 110 made kicks for Rob Ems. This is just his 6th season, his 3rd total team in the SFL. Ray, he's already top 10 all-time in made field goals and in field goals attempted, making better than 96% of the kicks in his career. He's one of the best in league history.
Yeah, they don't call him Big Money M's for no reason.
The sole reason that LA won plenty of games over the last couple of seasons.
Well, I remember when he was the only one that scored in one of our games last season.
I'm saying he was the sole reason that LA won a couple of games. Without him, it would have been even tougher sailing than it had been. Decent return for Weary out to the 18-yard line. Any chance for London to strike again here?
They have 18 seconds. They may throw one long pass. You never know what Pickler's going to do.
And with Robert Merrill, all you have to do is run at left tackle, and he could go.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. 314 total yards of offense unofficially in the first half for Merrill. Do they do it again? Here they go. Merrill left tackle. Spin move, and Canton's ready for it. There we go. Stops Merrill for a gain of just 6. His average plummets down to 16.8, and that is how the first half will end.
It's got to be better than that.
Yeah, what is this? That's nothing from Robert Merrill. A career game for Merrill, who scored 10 total touchdowns last season. He's got 5 today alone. It is a renaissance for Robert Merrill in London, and the Knights lead by 34 at the halftime break. Crazy.
Good news for Canton. They're getting the ball back here, not giving it back to London. So
no doubt. This is, they stop London there. We mentioned, look, maybe Merrill could break off something and give the Knights a chance to score late. Nothing doing because of that good stop by the Canton defense. And like Ray said, they will start with the ball here in the second half. Happy to have you with us. We're live here on Rare Drop Sports. Tim Hackett and Rochelle Colston in the booth. Chris Porter and Mark Chisholm in the stat truck. Cameron Irvine working hard behind the scenes. has been all London so far. They score the first 10 points of the game. Canton then rallied to score a touchdown and make it 10-7, but then Robert Merrill went off. If you're just joining us, we just mentioned it. More than 300 unofficially yards of offense and 5 total touchdowns for Robert Merrill in that first half, and London leads by 34. Cameron Curtis pump fakes here, now fires it over the middle. Nicely done, and a good start to this drive for the Classics. Kendra Hall with a gain of 15.
We saw towards the last quarter that the passes over the middle were working for Canton. We need to stick to that, I think. The little short 7-8 yard passes down the middle between Terry.
Mentioned it's been a problem for Curtis, who is 8th in the, get this, and through 2 weeks, Curtis is 8th in the league in pass attempts, but 20th in completions with fewer than 50, so that's how you get a completion percentage of 57.3, which was second worst in the league. Those 5 interceptions really doomed Canton last week. He's thrown 2 today, so they will play it short. There's Johnson trying to make something happen and not able to make, check that is Komisak. No, it is Johnson. First time's the charm out of the backfield. Doesn't get a lot there.
Yeah, the ball was thrown behind him that time. He had to turn around, and defense just had time to converge on him there.
And this is a position that Cameron Curtis always wanted to be. Always wanted to be a big league quarterback. Put up those big numbers in his only minor league season. Had to be a wide receiver for a year. Now trying to be a franchise QB for the team based in Canton. He'll fire it here again. Wow. They go over the middle, and another first down inside the London 40.
Great catch by Kendra Hall there. Beautiful pass.
Look at that. Sheds the coverage of Brandon Ewing and then just finds that hole right there, right behind Jeff Gagne. Perfectly done.
One-hand acrobatic catch.
She burst into the league when she joined Atlanta a couple of seasons ago and then becomes a superstar in Vancouver. She was an all-star twice. And this was, to me, the prized offseason pickup for Mike All, getting Kendra Hall to be the #1 wide receiver here for Canton, and she's been good so far. Gain of 1 here for Rojo. 11 catches, 170 yards, and a touchdown for Hall through 2 weeks. So top 25 in the SFL in in receiving yards and in targets through 2 weeks, and a solid game for her here. They've thrown her way 9 times unofficially for 4 catches. But 97 yards on those 4 catches, an average of better than 24 yards per catch for Kendra Hall. Curtis with a dart-style throw this way. That is hauled in by Mike Twinscrew, his first catch since the first quarter.
He's doing a pretty good job on this drive. It's the 3rd and 3. Let's see what they do here.
So many league veterans on this Canton offense, and that was part of Mike All's game plan. He talked about it live during the draft. He was one of our league panelists. Didn't have anything to do that night because he didn't have any draft picks to use because he filled his entire roster with existing players. Now, there are some rookies, some undrafted free agents that joined for various reasons, as Curtis flings it to the top of the screen, another catch and a first down for Kendra Hall. But it was just a totally different approach, really something we haven't seen in recent SFL history, Rochelle, to building a roster for an expansion team. Again, there are some rookies, but everybody was chosen before the draft, and that was part of Mike All's game plan, and it worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked. I mean, imagine being an expansion team and having your whole roster filled before the season starts. That's almost never heard of before.
Oh, absolutely. We've already talked about some of the stars they have on this team. They are stars. As Curtis, what a catch. No, it's dropped and then intercepted by Russell. That's a hat trick for Russell, almost a Superman-style catch for Twinscrew, but he ended up leaving it on a platter for Russell to pull it back.
So watch this again.
What?
What? I never saw the...
He had it.
Wow.
That's unbelievable. Wow.
Okay.
For Canton, I mean, Canton's got to be thinking, what else can go wrong?
I mean, really? I mean, you catch the ball, then all of a sudden it's intercepted?
Twinscrew looked like he had it Superman style and would have been down inside the 2. Instead, interception number 3 for Russell. Here goes Robert Merrill. Sidestep for Robert Merrill. Oh, man. I was getting ready to say off to the races, Ray. Happens a lot, but instead, a paltry gain of 13 for Merrill on first down.
Basically, we're having the Robert Merrill show.
No kidding. I'm still stuck on that last play.
No, me too.
We just saw a 13-yard run, left tackle, very nice, and a sidestep move. And, I mean, couldn't even focus on it because of what just happened on that near goal line catch by Mike Twinscrew. That's something that Cameron Irvine will go take a screen grab of later. I already know that.
Here we go, Merrill.
Yep, there we go. We thought about it. Here you go. Officially 250 rushing yards for Merrill. Not bad. Our guys are right on it. 16 carries, 251 yards unofficially. Chris Porter and Mark Chisholm, thank you both very much. We've seen 54 combined points just underway here in the third quarter. Pickler calling out the signals. Pump fakes. Now he'll throw it to the top of the screen. Brought in by Fox Highwind. Yards short of the 6.
Surprised we're not seeing more of Merrill, actually. At some point, he has to get tired. I'm sorry. He's been...
Absolutely. I mean, he's had 21 touches already, which is what he did last year. Last season, he averaged 22 touches per game. Here is number 22 today. First down for Merrill out across midfield. Can he do it again? Away he goes, and this time the sideline is able to help Canton bring him down from the 42 to the 21 on just one play. Merrill nearly to the red zone.
They still haven't found the answer to that outside run from Merrill. I mean, they had halftime to adjust.
Poor Evan Lacey, wearing number 20 in the Canton Golds. I mean, he's a great player and a stand-up dude who's got a great story in this league, but that poor guy has been left in Robert Merrill's wake time and time again today. That was insane. That play started at the 42-yard line. Here goes Merrill again. Left tackle, has a convoy, and gets inside the 10. A gain of 13 once again for Robert Merrill. That brings him to 300 rushing yards exactly.
It's like, if he doesn't get 100 yards, he gets 10 at least. It's like almost disappointing.
When you're averaging 16 and a half yards per rush, a gain of 13 is disappointing. You can't even set your own average. If he brings it in here, he would drop his average down even further. Here he goes. From the 8, Robert Merrill has another one. 6 touchdowns today for Robert Merrill. He doubles his season total in just 2.5 quarters. Robert Merrill can do no wrong.
I mean, London's offensive line is amazing. I mean, Giant Pickler has all day to do what he wants to do. Merrill's just getting the ball. They're doing great blocking in front of him. I mean...
Yeah, on top of everything Merrill has done, Pickler has thrown just 2 incompletions against 3 touchdowns. 2 of those were to Robert Merrill on swing passes, but that one throw to Fox Highwind is an all-time Johnny Pickler career highlight. That was a beauty. So Pickler has been great. Highwind had that highlight reel play. And then, of course, Robert Merrill has scored 6 touchdowns.
Almost 400 yards of the day.
It's absolutely unbelievable. Figure he'll get to that 400-yard mark on his next touch, considering what he's been doing so far. Short kick from Delaney, returnable here for Dillafree Sr. We mentioned that draft night coverage that Mike All was a part of for Canton. He's the Classics GM. London drafted 2 offensive linemen this year onto a team that already had 2 offensive linemen. And the narrative at that time, and by no means was this the wrong conclusion to make considering how London had operated for the past 2 years, the narrative was a little bit of a surprise. They're like, all right, cool, 4 offensive linemen on this team. Got to give Johnny Pickler a lot more protection. It was a little bit of a surprise, but clearly that was a precursor to what has become, it seems, a paradigm shift for London as Johnson gets 1 through the air. So that was why it was a surprise to me, Rochelle. There have been a handful of teams over the last couple of years that employ 3 or 4 offensive linemen. to varying degrees of success. London already had two for one of the best passing offenses in the league for the last couple of seasons. They bring in two more rookies. Farmer, first-round pick, DeMorinville Jr., a second-round pick, and that has clearly helped them shift their identity to become really a run-first team.
Yeah, I think you'll see in the future that more SFL teams will bring on more O linemen. I mean, they just help your run game, they help your passing game.
Johnson breaks through Tanner Hendricks, but can't break through Brandon Ewing, and it will be 3rd down and 9. So are you of the opinion then that offensive linemen are valuable in the SFL?
Obviously, we drafted one too.
Right.
This season.
Right. So LA's now got 3 now, right?
Correct.
So there's one of just a handful of teams that have 3 or more. It's worked so far so good for LA. Kendra Hall makes the catch well short of the sticks. You can see the LA Lycans and their 3 offensive linemen and Rochelle Colston in the secondary later tonight if you are so inclined. But it's something that it's something that I've been noticing over the last couple of years as a former highly mediocre offensive lineman myself, Rochelle. It's just something that I thought had gone kind of underappreciated in this league until, I don't know, a couple of seasons ago. Punters, you can make the same argument for them. And recently it seems that teams are investing more in the offensive line, and if you've got players that are willing to suit up in that position, and clearly London has 4 people who are willing to suit up at that position, you can make a huge impact, even though it's not your name that is being called when Robert Merrill scores 6 touchdowns in a game. All 4 of those guys have been absolutely essential elements to what London has done so far.
It's high demand and low supply.
Yeah, good points. Other punts there from Doug Six. Canton unable to break into this lead. Here goes Robert Merrill trying to break into it once again. We mentioned it's kind of a run-first offense for London, but maybe not. I mean, that's just rush attempt number 20 for Merrill. Pickler has thrown 14 passes, so yeah, it's about 60% run. But when you look at what London has done over the last couple of years, they're close to 80% pass. That's not an exaggeration. So this is balance for them. And not only is it balance, it's rushing excellence, unlike something we've ever seen for the London Knights. Merrill with the spin move and another first down. Vintage Robert Merrill there. That's what he's done over the course of his career.
I mean, just when you think you have him in the backfield stopped, he just spins out of it and makes something out of nothing, basically.
And this Canton defense is solid. I mean, you've got 4 total former All-Stars at the different levels. 2 linebackers and 2 defensive backs who have made All-Star games in their career, but nothing doing against Merrill today, except right there. That's what's, making me eat my words there. Great stop. Adam Chance, one of the rookies, was there. He's one of the few rookies on this Canton team, also one of the co-owners. So a handful of relative newcomers to the league. Adam Chance and KJ Alasho are the co-owners here for Canton. They bring in league veteran Mike All, who always wanted to be a general manager in the SFL, got his chance the last couple of seasons with Jacksonville, and now the general manager for this expansion team. Canton is one of the defensive linemen, jumps offside. That ruins a good hit by veteran safety Bob Funk.
And just can't get a break here tonight.
No kidding. And frankly, Rochelle, we have not talked about this defensive line for Canton at all. They have not had any impact on this game, and the first time we were mentioning any of their names, it's because Chris Porter jumps off sides.
I mean, you got veterans on the line. You got Boudreaux, you got Bernie, you got Grodick. As a linebacker, I mean, they have veterans on those defense.
Sure do. Not had any answer for Robert Merrill. 2nd and 4, first down for Robert Merrill. That was kind of a Robert Johnson style run, really, but a bruising run. Brings the defender along with him, gets 5, gets a first down. Easy does it.
And, I mean, yep, there's a spin move.
It's unbelievable. We talked about this secondary even has a lot of great players. Connor Darien made the All-Star game last season for Jacksonville, so he follows Mike All here to Canton. Jay Rock had a good season last year for Atlanta. I mentioned Evan Lacey is a good player. Bob Funk, standout for Portland over the beginning of his career. Nobody's been able to stop Robert Merrill, except right there. Nice, great tackle there by Mark Gronick. This has been a matchup Johnny Pickler was telling me when I was able to hang out with him for a minute in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. He was looking forward to this matchup. Mark Gronick spent his first 5 seasons as a linebacker for St. Louis. He was an outside linebacker, now moves inside here to be with Canton, his first team other than St. Louis, and now going against his brother Johnny Pickler for the first time playing for Canton. Merrill, search and destroy, running outside, and somehow picks up 6 from that.
Did you say brother?
Yes.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. So you learn things every day. At least I sure do. You're more plugged into this league than I am. I learn things every day. Unless he was just pulling my leg, which wouldn't put past Johnny to do that. You know he's watching. So shout out to you. And he'll correct me, I guess, if I got that story wrong. Third down for Pickler. Sets and throws and picked off. Great read that time for the Canton defense. And there is the aforementioned veteran Bob Funk, former cornerback, now a safety in his 5th season, his 3rd interception this season, and finally it's a pick for Pickler.
Yeah, Johnny just said he's just so smarter than he is. That's why we don't really know.
That's why you don't know they're related, I guess. But
I guess.
Chronic trying to make some noise, and as the guy we used to call, back of the minors, we used to call him the Railroad, Bob Funk Railroad, and picks up his 3rd pick in 3 games. First interception thrown today by Pickler. He threw just 2 in his first 2 games.
That's impressive because, I mean, everybody's been throwing a lot of interceptions lately in this league.
Pickler threw a lot last year, too. 32, if memory serves. Top 10 in the league. Bruising run for Robert Johnson, first down.
And that's just Robert Johnson being Robert Johnson there.
It's patented. I mean, you and I saw this time and time again. Who would want to be Tanner Hendricks in a game like this?
If I saw him coming like that at me, I would just get out of the way.
Tanner Hendricks is a great corner. I'm a big fan of his. And, you know, you're not going to stand up to a back like Robert Johnson in one-on-one, typically, in this league. The midfield stripe, risky throw again from Curtis. That one could have been picked as well, right into Anthony Wyo's hands. He usually brings those down.
Definitely. A very dangerous throw indeed. He's very lucky not to have turned the ball over there. Wow.
Unreal. Williams is in the chat. That's Jason Williams, who has been monitoring this rushing record for us. We're going to confirm with Cameron Irvine when we can what the SFL record for rushing yards in a game is, but Jason Williams is somebody who knows a thing or two about good rushing performances in this league. Been a running back for a long time for Fort Worth, most notably, and Merrill over 325 rushing yards this evening. 6 total touchdowns. Curtis sidearm sling again and out of bounds, they say. Hall was right there, over 100 receiving yards in her own right today, but nothing doing that time.
There. Oh, we're going to challenge.
Challenge. Okay.
The Bulldogs are challenging whether the pass.
What did you see on this, Ray?
I really couldn't see her feet in the play. Hopefully we can get a better shot of the replay.
Mike Twinscrew, the head coach here for Canton, has coaching experience from his time in Louisiana. Yeah, what'd you see on the replay?
I think she's out. No, I couldn't see the right foot.
Wow. All right. But give Kendra Hall that catch. And it will be third down and short after all that. Well, look, Canton needs any break that they can get. They're down by 41. That's going to keep this drive alive and give them a manageable third down.
I guess I really couldn't see the right foot because we didn't get a really good camera shot there.
My batting average on those reviews in my lifetime, Rochelle, is below 200, so I have no idea. 3rd and 5, swatted away. Great coverage again by this London defense. Jeff Gagne had a really quiet first 2 weeks. He is a really stout middle linebacker in this league. He has been good today.
His 3rd pass deflection on the day.
Didn't have any through his first 2 games, if you can believe it. Middle linebacker is just a trove for pass deflections in this game. You get a lot of them. Gagne didn't have any before today. Another punt's coming from Doug Six, proving why you should invest in punters. Again, Terrence Weary has been great returning punts today, but does not have a chance to return that one. And unfortunately for Canton, it will roll into the end zone. Hey, eSports TV has partnered with the SFL to bring sim football to millions of homes over the next 2 years. ESTV is the world's first 24/7 live, linear, and video-on-demand esports channel available everywhere through your smart TV, on your phone, through Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and more. Visit estv.co to learn more about its programming and to find all the ways you can catch the SFL action on the network. A lot of action so far today for Robert Merrill, who gets pile-driven back by Gary Clem.
A nice play by the defense there to actually stop Robert Merrill
Kidding.
at the line of scrimmage.
If you're following the chat here on Rare Drop Sports, which is not something that I always do during the game, but sometimes it's fun, we are monitoring this rushing record now. 425 yards, they're telling us, is the record for rushing yards in a game. Merrill has 325 with 11 minutes of game time left to go. We're done with 3. This is the Simulation Football League live on Rare Drop Sports.
They say who owns the record at 425 yards?
I have to double check, so thank you to the chat for doing the prep work that I didn't, and to Cameron Irvine for double checking. 425 by Reggie Streeter, who played for London at the time. Pickler will bomb it, looking for Kalia. Incomplete. Decent coverage, but not the perfect throw that time from Pickler. That could have brought London out to midfield. So yes, to underscore it, the rushing record in the SFL is 425 yards in a game set by Reggie Streeter in season 13 by London. So they already have the record. Can they have it again?
That would have been my guess, actually, Tim. Reggie Streeter. I think I remember that. That was my first season in the SFL.
I was for my time, but it's a game that I've heard about many times as well. Third down for Pickler, not even close that time. Highwind was the target, and Pickler not quite calibrated that time. It will be fourth down.
I think he got used to handing off the ball to Merrill.
They didn't do it on the last couple of plays, and that just destroyed that drive for London. This will be back-to-back stops for Canton, if you can believe it.
I think his arm that's cold. He's got to warm it back up again.
So our first look today at Shane O'Donnell, and so the opportunity for Al Dillapre Sr. to return this punt. Not much there. In the first half for London, drive summary looks like this. Field goal made, Merrill touchdown, Merrill touchdown, Merrill touchdown, Merrill touchdown, Highwind touchdown, Merrill touchdown. That's the drive summary for London. They scored on every possession. Then Merrill scored on London's first possession here of the second half, and since then it was the interception by Funk and then that 3-and-out. So back-to-back stops for the Canton defense. Hall safely over 100 yards after that play was overturned on Canton's last possession. Robert Johnson doing his best Robert Merrill impression, stretches out and picks up 7.
He picks up 7 on the play.
He has not punted the ball once today.
It's just been amazing efficiency by this London offense. Again, they scored 30 in week 1 against Indy, 48 last week against Tulsa, and now over the half-century mark here today. There's a hurdle from Robert Johnson and a first down. We mentioned it would be a show between these two guys named Robert, Merrill and Johnson. Obviously, we know who has stolen the show so far today, but Robert Johnson has done his best to be a good second bill.
If they can finally get Robert Johnson going here in the fourth quarter.
And they've got some pieces on this Canton offense. I fully believe that. And Johnson has nearly equaled his season total through 2 games just here this evening. Toss it to him, it's dropped and ruled a fumble, and Johnson will dive on it. You see this occasionally in this league too, Rochelle. It'll be a loss of 6 if this stands.
I don't think that was a fumble. No. He never even caught the ball.
It shouldn't be.
Well, we'll see what RCQ tells us.
Right, so it was thrown backwards, so they consider it a lateral. So if it wasn't caught, then it's considered a fumble. So Canton will challenge. Twin Screws already 1 of 1 today. I mean, so again, what we're looking at here is if it's a backwards pass. If it's a backwards pass, then it's considered a lateral, even though it's a throw overhand from Curtis. And London is going to win this challenge. So it was ruled to be behind the plane. And if Johnson was just standing even of half of a yard behind Curtis, then it's considered a lateral because he drops the pass. So that's what R62 determines, and it will be a loss of 6 on that fumble for Robert Johnson. So it won't hurt Curtis's numbers except for an incomplete pass. 48, and there's a completed pass. Jack Wall has another catch. Again, all of his catches have been for short yardage today, but he has really upped his receiving yards here.
At least we're at 3rd and manageable now, not 3rd and long.
4th catch today for Wall. He had 4 total catches over Canton's first 2 weeks. So, of course, those 4 catches went for 96 yards. 4 catches today have gone for 31, so a third of that total.
He's only averaging 7.8 yards per reception today.
Down from 24 over his first 2 weeks. 3rd and 6, manageable like you said, never mind. Curtis gets blown up. Everything going London's way, and that is their first sack tonight, courtesy of the league veteran William Davidson.
First time we've said his name tonight.
No doubt. The rest of this London defense has been so good. We haven't talked about this defensive line at all. We mentioned Cam Frosby. He got in on a play earlier that didn't matter, and that is their first sack today. Davidson's first. High punt here from 6. Bouncing, and no! Canton let it roll across.
Oh my
goal
God,
line.
that's bad special teams coverage there. He was right there.
Absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe that.
He watched the ball roll into the end zone.
You know a thing or two about good special teams, Rochelle. You played special teams and also as a stellar free safety for what? Your whole career? I've never seen you make a play like that. I just can't believe that happened.
Me either.
Well, Robert Merrill is 101 yards away from a record, and London is 80 yards away from the end zone, and Merrill will only get 1 yard there. A tackle made by Frank Bernstein, second-year safety, spent his rookie year with Fort Worth, and limits Merrill to a gain of just 1.
Let's hope Canton finally found an answer to Robert Merrill here.
No kidding. And it's courtesy of Frank Bernstein, who made just 5 tackles through his first 2 weeks. Here goes Merrill again. Huge hole for Merrill, but then it collapses. That was unreal. It looked like he had the whole field to run through, and then Evan Lacey jumped in and laid the wood on him.
Like I said before, you got to give credit to the London's offensive line. They're just amazing.
They changed up the shift. I mean, Perrin Ibarra used to be a tackle. He's now a left guard. Anthony Anderson was the right tackle. He's now the left tackle. They bring in right guard Demetrius Farmer in the first round, and then center Wallace DeMorinville Jr. in the second round of this most recent draft. Merrill gets stood up. Great work by this Canton defense. And yeah, the fans at home are asking, starters still in? You better believe it. Mark Gronick with a little bit of family bragging rights against Johnny Pickler there with the stop on 3rd down.
Sure that Johnny will be calling Mark tonight.
Wouldn't want to be part of that conversation, would you?
No.
It has been a stellar performance from the company. Canton nearly got that punt blocked back. Turnable here for Dillapre Sr. Never mind. Fantastic coverage by London.
The first punt by London in the 4th quarter?
I think it was their second. They did punt on their last possession, I believe.
Okay. So we're seeing punts in the 4th quarter by London for the first time.
Yeah, they've been stuck on 51 points for pretty much this whole quarter. I can't believe it. What an amateur.
Well, we passed the over already, so.
Exactly. Been at the over for quite a while, it feels. London scores again, a touchdown at least. They would break that over by themselves. Here goes Johnson. Gain of 2. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. It's been a sweet symphony for Robert Merrill and Johnny Pickler and this London offense so far today. Curtis will throw into traffic again and picked off again, and returnable now for the London defense. Into enemy territory they go. Best return of a pick today. Anthony Weil brings that one down. Interception number 4 for Cameron Curtis.
Cameron Curtis is having another rough week with the interception problem.
No kidding. He threw 8 through Canton's first 2 games. That was 3rd most in the league. He did throw 4 touchdowns, which was 7th most in the league, but all those picks at the end of the game last week against Indianapolis, helping the Ramblers rally to a historic win. And all these interceptions today have made it impossible for Canton to rally to what would have been a historic win of their own had they been able to pull it off. More chances for Merrill here. Great stop, gain of just 2. I mean, if you believe in momentum, Rochelle, that's out of chance on the tackle for Canton. And Canton had none of it. They were completely, kicked in the teeth last week with that 28-point fourth quarter by Indianapolis, and then London comes out guns blazing here in the first half today. But the Classics defense against London starters, I mean, right there, that's a TFL against Merrill, maybe just their first or maybe their second against Merrill this whole game. This is positive momentum, if you believe in that, to take into next week.
Here, Merrill, you just got to be tired here. I mean, you've been on the field a long time. You've got a lot of carries, a lot of receptions. Got to be.
Next carry will be his 30th. He's been their most effective weapon. Do they go to him? Pickler will throw on 3rd down, and it's caught by Kalia, but well short of the line. So today, 36 total touches, unofficially 425 all-purpose yards for Merrill. Last season, Merrill averaged 22 touches, 94 total yards. Not rushing yards, total yards, and less than 1 touchdown in a game. Average 94 yards. Today, he has totaled more than 400.
Canton can feel good about their defense in the fourth quarter. They pretty much held London to a field goal.
That will break the shutout. London's first points of this fourth quarter, courtesy of JT Delaney, who got the scoring started, and he might well have gotten the scoring finished here for London this afternoon.
There are some positive notes from this. So, like you said, you stopped them in the fourth quarter. They haven't only held them to 3 points, which is a good job so far in the fourth quarter.
No doubt about it. And let's talk Canton for a minute, Rochelle, because you had to pilot not an expansion team, but a new team, and it is difficult for new teams to win in the SFL. Expansion teams especially, and Canton was the team of the 4 expansion teams, and you've got a brand new team in Motor City with some holdovers from their days in St. Louis. It's Ty 10, the reserve tight ends and special teamers who's down injured for the Classics. You've got 5 new teams, including 4 expansion teams here in the SFL this season. It is difficult for those teams to win early, and that has been what we've seen so far. I mean, Motor City had the surprise performance in week 1, then they lose in week 2. Indy's 1-1. Minnesota, you got Minnesota, you've got Seattle, who's 0-2. Canton's going to go to 0-3. It's not easy for brand new teams to win, even if you've got a brand new team full of league veterans like Canton has.
I mean, you got new owners, new coaches, new players from different teams all mixed in there. And take a while to get your mojo, I guess, going until you figure it all out. And like I said, it's still early in the season. It's only the 3rd game. We got a long season left ahead of us.
No doubt. And that's the important thing to realize as well, is that, it looks unlikely at this point because of how this game has looked, but Canton could rally. Again, they've got some talent on both ends of the ball, some prime people. Mike All knows how to put teams together. He put together a quality team in Jacksonville over the last couple of years, a team that really struggled prior to that. Now he's trying to build something new here in Canton. Curtis flipped up after that pass deflection. Again, this London defense has had its hands all over these passes from Curtis. Brandon Ewing has another one.
Yeah, their secondary in this London's defense has been giving for Curtis a hard time all day.
South of 57% completion now for Curtis. Brandon Ewing had a sack over London's first 2 weeks. It came last week against Tulsa. He's the only member of this London starting core, other than Cam Frosby, to pick up a sack. Not bad for your number 3 corner. 3rd and 10. Curtis has time this time. Floats it up, and it's caught somehow. Incredible catch. First down to the 40.
Kendra.
Empty backfield. Canton goes with the hurry up. 4:30 left. In a long time since they have scored. Floats it up. There is
Nice
Kendra
play.
Hall. Great catch. Out to the London 45. Gain of 15.
Now they're moving the ball pretty quickly here.
Again they go. Another first down. Jack Wall. Just chunk play after chunk play. 15 yards to Hall. 15 yards for Wall. Here they go.
That in the middle pass has been working well for them. I don't know why they didn't stick to it.
There
Here
we
we
go
go
again.
again.
And we do it again. Oh, just a meager gain of 12 that time. Jack Wall on the catch. This team's got Wall, Hall, and all. Love it. Curtis again.
Nice.
Another first down. And another new targets. That's Dillapre seniors. So just about everybody has gotten involved. Alacio had a catch. Hall had a catch. Wall has 2. And now Dillapre. And they get it to Twin Screw. Curtis to the end zone. Knocked away and incomplete. Going for Dillapre senior again. Coverage provided by Emmanuel Blackman. 2nd down.
I'm hoping for Canton State there's not another interception in the end zone for them. That'd be heartbreaking at this point.
You're right. This game could be closer. I mean, not a ton closer if we're honest. It's a 44-point game, but Canton has been snake bitten a couple of times. Robert Johnson has their only touchdown. Robert Johnson and Rob Ems have combined for all of Canton's points. Not the first time that's happened for this team this season. Johnson is now back in on 2nd and goal. Curtis to throw. Deep drop, top of the screen, and caught. Touchdown. Canton rights the ship, and there is Mike Twinscrew. Every pass catcher gets involved on that drive, and the Classics are back in the end zone.
That was an awesome drive by Canton. Spread the ball around 10 yards at a time. Great route, great catch.
And plenty of the starters were still in. I mean, that was Ewing, who has been a starter in the past. He's their nickel back these days. When we've got Emmanuel Blackman, who was an all-star last season, and Tanner Hendricks, who is a 9-season veteran, as your 2 corners, then it's going to be tough to find playing time. But Ewing is no slouch. It's his 6th season, and he was on the coverage there, and Twinscrew were able to beat him. Another kick for Rob Ems. 10-play drive for Canton, capped off on that touchdown for Mike Twinscrew, his first as a member of the Classics.
Like I said before, those little, over-the-middle passes were working really well there. They start that earlier in the game and maybe a different game here today.
Oh, onside kick coming. This game's not over, Rochelle. 37 points with 3:24 left. Hey, you get this onside kick, you never know what could happen.
You're right.
Yeah,
Number 1, they got it.
Nicely done on a hop. That was not an easy play.
But now you give London great field position once again.
Shout out to Hayes Cooper on that return, a linebacker. Who says linebackers don't have hands? That was one of the nicest catches that we've seen today.
They have a linebacker on the hands crew.
It sure looked like it to me. So Brady Maynard will now come in for London, up by 37 with 3:22 left. Merrill get any more touches? He will not. This is, I was afraid we would have to, that's bad news for Ty Tend. And yes, as the chat said, amazing name. He's done for the day for Canton. But this will be Slade McRunsfast getting the carries for, yes, Slade McRunsfast getting the carries for London from here on in. Look at Terrence Weir lining up to the bottom of the screen for Brady Maynard. 2nd straight appearance for him. Came in after London put up 48 against Tulsa. They better themselves. McRunsfast trying to do his best Robert Merrill impression. Frankly, he does not run very fast. Stopped after of a few by Adam Chance.
That was a failed impression.
And I don't think anybody is going to be able to do any Robert Merrill impressions this year. So through 2 weeks, Robert Merrill totaled 350 rushing yards. That was already the most in the league. Today, unofficially, 325. So he's going to be 100 yards short of the SFL record, but he's going to nearly double his season total in just one game.
Amazing.
2 minutes left in regulation time. London trying to put the finishing touches on this one and move to 3-0. You're watching the Simulation Football League on Rare Drop Sports. Happy to have you with us. It's been a fun one, especially if you're a London fan. Tim Hackett, Rochelle Colston, Mark Chisholm, Chris Porter, and Chairman Irvine along here with you. The runs fast, left tackle, lowers the shoulder, can't break through. Canton will use its second timeout. Remember, they lost one earlier on a failed challenge, so twin screw 1 of 2 on those challenges.
Jack Wall just said, great game, London, except for you, Johnny.
We know that, I mean, that's been the word for Pickler. It helps because it's got the alliteration ability, but he's a polarizing guy. He's very vocal, extremely passionate. When his team wins, he has the best time ever. When his team loses, it's not always very fun, but he told me earlier this season, that he expected his team to do a lot of winning. That's a fake field goal, and Canton is ready for it. Brady Maynard just got a couple of snaps, and they just wanted to get him a pass attempt, and Canton was ready to blow it up. John Gilroy on the stop.
That never works out well for you.
I have never seen a fake field goal in this league, Rochelle. I've seen a couple of fake punts. Have they ever worked? No. But I've still seen them a couple of times. That is my first fake field goal that I've gotten to witness in person, and went about as well as you would expect.
I've seen several, and they all end up either like that or worse.
Something's got a 0% hit rate. You figure it might never happen again. Curtis gets decked. Selwyn Lane with the sack. His first of the season. So Davidson's had his first. Selwyn Lane has had his first. Poor Cam Frosby's got to think, what else do I have to do? Get 5.5 through 2 games. Haven't heard from him today. Curtis a double coverage, knocked away. Still loose. I thought that was about to be another tip drill pick. Malik McNeil with the coverage.
All these dangerous passes.
It's just not something that we're used to seeing from Curtis. He's been a sure-handed guy over his career. I mean, especially dating back to his minor league career. But again, 57% completion through 2 weeks. Less than 60% again today. He's thrown 4 picks. Earned 7, going for it all. And there's another one right on cue. Another interception. One-on-one coverage. Tanner Hendricks has his second of the season.
And it said London's got like 13 pass deflections on the day. Amazing secondary today.
It's tough for me, really, Rochelle, to pick out what the most impressive piece of this game for London has been. Obviously, Merrill has had a career game, and this is going to be one of the best rushing performances that anybody puts up this season, what we saw here today. Forget that. One of the best all-told running back performances. We saw Keith Swearingen score 6 touchdowns in a game in Week 1 for Charleston. I wasn't sure we would see that again. We have seen that again. But you go a step further from that. Pickler had a great game. Through the 1 pick, otherwise, quarterback rating is over 125. The London secondary has been excellent. This is as good of a team performance as you're going to get.
On both sides of the ball, in fact. So, I mean, can't ask for a better performance from your team.
No question.
I mean, Jack Russell's had himself a great day.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, he's your MVP of the defense for sure. And again, Merrill is as much of a shoe-in of player of the game here in this league as we've ever seen, and might be player of the month at this rate if this keeps up. He does anything halfway decent next week, he'll be close to 1,000 rushing yards.
The 4th week of the season. Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely. And again, last season, in total, 676 rushing yards. 676. Dead last among all starting running backs. Now, technically, Warren Murray had fewer rushing yards for Baltimore, but he only played 6 games. Robert Merrill played 12, didn't even crack 700. After today, broken that mark already. 350 here and over his first 2 weeks, and another 325 today. That's 675. 676 in 12 games last week. He has matched his season total in just 3 games. A renaissance for Robert Merrill for sure. Another punt here for Shane O'Donnell, who's been busy here in the fourth quarter. Canton's defense has locked it down, but too little, too late to be sure. 000 on the clock as Dillipre will try to return it. The London special teams is there all nights, all the time. The Knights will move to 3-0. One of just 4 remaining unbeaten teams in the SFL, and they look the part. The Brain Trust thinks this is going to be a special season for the London Knights. So far, through 3 weeks, it's hard to find any reason to prove them wrong.
150 yards of total offense.
Crazy. Nearly 200 more yards than Canton.
Surprisingly, the time of possession for the game is pretty even.
7 teams entered this week unbeaten. 3 already lost, including earlier today. Vegas going down against Florida. So now, after Baltimore won yesterday, they're now 3-0. London is 3-0. Later on this week, Arizona and Sioux Falls trying to stay among the ranks of the unbeaten. London, Rochelle, will play, we mentioned it's hard for new teams to win. London will play all 5 new teams this season. Motor City and this Canton team, they're both in London's division, the New Look North division. But London is going to play every new team this year. So far, London is 2-0 against new teams. Indy and Canton 3-0 overall. And with how much some of those other teams have struggled, imagine there may be a couple of other wins on the docket for London. This could be a record-setting season for the Knights.
Looks like Louisiana's up over Lone Star Glory in the other game on right now, 28-21 too.
So a good one. You can catch that game on the SFL's YouTube channel. Rochelle, I'm going to ask you anyway. Who's your player of the game?
Let me think about this really hard. Robert Merrill. Even though I'd like to give it to Jack Russell on defense, but you know.
It's an honorable mention if there ever was one.
Defense doesn't get any love in this game.
Spoken like a true shirt safety. As if there were any doubt. 420 all-purpose yards and 6 total touchdowns. A record-setting day for Robert Merrill, who's truly looking like a new man. Rochelle Colson, your final thoughts.
Like I said, Canton take some positive notes. You played defense really well in the fourth quarter. You held them to a field goal, so move on from that and quit, get Curtis and quit throwing interceptions, and you together a better season the rest of the way.
Robert Merrill leads London to win number 3. Canton falls to 0-3. That's going to do it for us here tonight. For our statisticians, Chris Porter, Mark Chisholm, Cameron Irvine, working hard as always today. And for my partner, Rochelle Colson, it's been a pleasure to be with you this evening, Ray. I've been Tim Hackett. We'll see you next time. Until then, so long.
Good night. Be safe.